Good evening from PLUGHITZ Studios in Largo, Florida. I'm Scott.
I'm Avram.
And we are here with episode 486 of F5 Live, refreshing technology for December 3rd, 2017. This show is a proud part of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. This week, Blue goes dark, Coinbase gives to the IRS, and Redbox kind of sells digital movies. Wherever you are and however you're accessing our show, whether it be through Apple Music Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Music Podcasts, the Podcast Play app in the Microsoft Store, on Facebook or YouTube, or on any of our live platforms, livestream.com, Periscope, Twitch, or Mixer, or of course on our apps, PLUGHITZlive.com/apps. Thank you for making us a part of your day. This here is F5 Live, the flagship show on the PLUGHITZ Live family of content. There are two ways that you can join us. The first is Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, by going to f5live.tv/join us. From there, you can obviously watch us live, but in addition, you also have the ability to chat with us in the studio as we discuss the topics. In particular, people like to give us feedback on the Pilch Point, which will be on in just a little bit. We'll be talking about some retro tech. But we like to hear about your comments on the topics throughout the whole show. So feel free, f5live.tv/join us. But if you can't join us on Sundays, that's okay too. You can still subscribe by going to plughitzlive.com/subscribe. There you will see all of our series, including F5 Live and the Pilch Point, our special events, which we'll start seeing content for CES in the frighteningly near future. Our new product launch pad, our first looks, which has some stuff coming up in the future, unboxed, and of course the 3000 Brigade podcast, which has a new episode publishing this week. It'll be the second episode of Detective Toad, Mushroom of Mystery. It might publish as early as this evening, depending on how editing for this show goes. So you can subscribe to all of those there as well. I think that there is the spiel, and I did it again, that there. Hi, Avram.
Hey, how's it going?
I don't know why I keep saying that there. I don't say that at any other time in my life except for that sentence. That there is the spiel. Other than that, things are good.
Tradition.
I guess you just get a thing into your head and you can't get rid of it. How have things been around Laptop and Tom's?
Not bad. You know, we had a very busy holiday weekend last weekend. Busy Cyber Monday, logging deals and such. And now we sort of come down from that a little bit and are preparing for people. Obviously, we're still, if you're interested in buying tech, we still have lots of great deals featured on our homepage at both Laptop Mag and Tom'sGuide.com. We're logging them every day to help find you the best. But, as the peak weekend is over, sure. We also turn our attention to planning for CES and new products for the new year. I'm exhausted in advance from CES.
Yep.
Because I'm going to be at CES longer this year than ever before.
Okay.
So I have to arrive, and I booked my flight on Friday the 5th. And for those who don't keep track of CES, because if you don't have to go, you don't need to keep track, and good for you. You're not missing a lot. But we got to go. We got to go and cover it. Important new things are launched there, but it's. I like to tell my colleagues, it's sort of like a dirty diaper. It's like changing a soiled diaper, basically going to CES. The only thing worse than going is not going and letting it fester. So you gotta go, you gotta see new things, you gotta see the people, and meet everyone. But it's exhausting, and running around. Las Vegas is very difficult to get around,
especially during that week.
you know you can't. There's nothing really, there's nothing in the way of public transportation. Even within a hotel, it might take you half an hour to get from one side of the hotel to the other to get to where you're going, amazingly enough. So you might wait in a cab line for 45 minutes to get somewhere, and then we'll sit in the cab for half an hour to go half a mile.
Yeah, just to get out of a parking lot.
Yeah, it's absolute madness, and very frustrating. But it's cool because I get to see some people that I don't see most of the year, such as you,
indeed,
and the rest of the crew. So that's always a big highlight for me, and getting to see all the vendors that I deal with most on email all year round. It's good. So anyway, I'm looking forward to a big week there, and this time there's a press event on Saturday, the 6th, all day, that I have to go to, which is a little nutty considering that the actual show doesn't start until Tuesday.
Yep.
So
yeah, it makes for an interesting week. And I guess speaking of CES, the Tech Podcast Network is going to be doing the live show again this year. So if our viewers at home want to follow along, f5live.tv/CES, we'll have our live stream there, and probably /join us as well. You'll be able to see it because it's some of the same broadcast platforms like live stream. It's the same account, so you can probably see it there too. So we'll be live all week. Our team will be on and off. And Avram and I have been teasing for a long time that we're going to figure out how to do a show together, because it's been a while since we've gotten to do one together at CES. So we're going to try and figure that out again this year.
I would really, really like to do it.
It's been years.
I know.
5 or 6 since the last time we were able to do a live one together.
And you're arriving on the 6th?
Saturday
the 6th?
Mm-hmm. I can't remember the numbers. I just know we're traveling Saturday and Saturday.
Yes. So I'm traveling Friday and Friday. I'll be there arriving on Friday and leaving the next Friday. So like seven whole days.
Well, we're supposed to have the studio set up Sunday and like ready, fully functional Sunday night. So anytime after that, we should be able to do it. So you and I should figure that out, because I think it would be fun to be able to do again.
I would love to.
All right. Well, that's a month away. Let's start talking about stuff from this week. How's that?
Great.
This week's Nifty Gifties on F5 Live are proudly powered by the Microsoft Store, the new and improved Microsoft Store that has everything Microsoft in one place. Whether you're looking to save on the Surface Pro or the Surface laptop, or you're looking to save $70 on an Xbox One S bundle plus get extra free games, or you're looking for a bundle that has a laptop, mixed reality ready laptop and headset together, or you're looking for some of the best apps for your Windows 10 computer or games for your Xbox. It is now all in one place, and you can find it all by going to f5live.tv/Microsoft. I'm so glad that they have just one brand name now for for all of their online retail. But that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about a former Microsoft partner who now does exclusively budget end Android phones. used to do some Windows phones. We interviewed them at CES about them a couple of years ago. The company is Blue. They are a Miami-based handset manufacturer, which is an unusual thing to have a handset manufacturer here in the United States. They're actually one of the fastest growing Latin-owned businesses in the country. Hopefully what happened this week is not going to screw that up too bad for them, because we know that a company's reputation is not based on how they do during happy times. It's how they respond to problems. This week was a problem for Blue. One of their handsets, the Life One X2, they put out a firmware update that was faulty and bricked phones. Now, everybody's done it. Almost every manufacturer has put out some sort of a firmware update for one of their phones that has caused some sort of a problem. Just ask Google how the screen worked on the Pixel 2 XL when it came out. Firmware update problems are not new, but most companies have, or at least the big companies have, a plan for when something goes wrong. Nokia put out a Lumia firmware update one time that was a problem, and Microsoft had a piece of software you plugged your phone in, got the phone back up and running, and you didn't lose your data. Samsung has a similar tool in the event that they have problems, or even just in the event that your particular phone starts to have software problems. Obviously, with Windows, you know that if an update goes terribly wrong, there's the ability to get the computer back up and running without losing your data. Well, that's not the case with Blue. With Blue and this particular problem, the only option you have is to do a factory reset and lose everything that is on your phone, because Blue wasn't ready for this. Interestingly, that's not the only problem to come out of this week for them. As soon as it happened, the company went dark, silent. When asked for comment, nothing, no response, no nothing. Their Facebook page has kind of gone quiet. Their news section on their website has nothing. Their support has nothing. But at least on Facebook, they congratulated the soccer team that they sponsor. That's been about the extent of it. Now, they do have a very canned response for Facebook whenever somebody comments on any post that they post, complaining that they've lost their phone, and it says, "Hi, person's first name who complained. We are aware of the issue with the Life One X2 and currently working on it," which is not proper grammar. "We apologize for the inconvenience." That's it. That's all you get. When you contact support, all you get is reset your phone. Sorry, QQ, sad day. This has not been a good week for them.
Yeah, that is, I mean, that would make me not want to buy a phone from them.
For sure.
Because, you know, problems do happen. Of course, bricking someone's phone is, I don't think any of the other problems that you mentioned were that's as serious as this.
Yeah.
Having your phone, like having a screen or a camera issue, that's bad, but it doesn't cause data loss.
Right.
It doesn't cause loss of use of your phone too. Like, let's be honest. Like, I don't know, 10 years ago, before I had my first smartphone, before people expected me to respond and I expected connectivity all the time.
Sure.
If my phone was dead for 2 days or 3 days or a week, I'd be like, well, that's okay. You know, people can call me when I'm home.
It was unfortunate, but not a killer.
Now, if I leave the house without it, it's a problem.
Right.
You know, I can't leave. If I left the phone at home, I had to turn around and get it again or whatever, because I can't. And, you know, it's not just like certain conveniences, like, yeah, I want to listen to music on the train or whatever. It's like, you know, I'm doing work. People expect me to be available.
Absolutely.
You know, all this kind of other stuff going on. So,
and I mean, and it's not even just that. Right here in the studio right now, we literally have 3 phones as part of the the tech process for broadcasting this show.
So, you gotta, it's a serious problem if you don't have a working phone. So, yeah, I would consider that a really bad problem. And then that you're not getting a response to a human response to it. Like, hey, wait, I don't think there's anybody home. That's really bad. Now, if you reset your phone, though, it works, right?
Yes.
And so if you're willing to lose whatever you had on it, you can get it working again.
Indeed.
Now, this would give me very little confidence in Blue, but on the other hand, a lot of people actually have all their data in the cloud.
You would certainly hope.
Because really, what of yours is not in the cloud? The only thing that might not be in the cloud is on Android is the photos and video you took, and a lot of people have those set to automatically back up to something like Google Drive or Dropbox or something. Or
if you have Amazon Prime, I know they're a sponsor, but if you have Amazon Prime, there's unlimited photo storage from them.
Right. So there's plenty of places to put you can put your photos.
Yeah.
You can store your photos. So if you've been doing that all along, that's really the only thing I can think of that I think some of mine haven't automatically backed up. I think it's the only thing I can think of that if I had to wipe my phone, I would lose. But if it's a document, if it's an email, if it's my music, if it's an app, that's all in the cloud. And with Android, when you reinstall the operating system, you can tell it just download all my apps again.
Yeah.
So
you can do the same thing that you can do with Windows, right? And say this is the replacement for this phone, or clone this setup, and it'll just bring it back down how that device was.
So,
something like that.
Yeah. So that's not really I don't know if it retains all your settings. If you, retain you'd have to enter your account, your Google account, obviously.
Sure. I
don't know if it would retain like your email. If you had a non-Google email account, if it would retain those settings, you'd have to enter them manually. Okay. But you'd have to spend.
Okay. It would be
half an hour.
So it's
getting yourself
similar.
back up and running.
So it's similar, but not entire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it would save like your wallpaper or something like that if you change your wallpaper.
Okay.
But it saves the important things. So
sure.
But that's just trying to look on the bright side.
Yeah.
On the dim side, people may not know that they can reset their phone.
Right.
At
least support is telling them, if you do this, you'll be back up and running, and here's the process to do it. At least they are getting that much information out of them.
Yeah. But, that would really that would irritate me a lot. Like, what are these people doing if they're not testing? Shouldn't they have more adequately tested their update?
Yeah.
And then that they're not really responding, and they seem to have gone quiet, really strikes you as like, well, wait a second. This seems like a fly-by-night operation.
Yeah, exactly. Now, on the other hand, to play devil's advocate for a second, when you're buying based on price, I think most people know that they're giving something up. When you go to Walmart, you're not expecting, top-notch, knowledgeable sales associates, right? You know that you're going there for the price of something. You're sacrificing something. Now, I wouldn't expect this to be the sacrifice that you would make on a piece of tech, but maybe customer service is the thing that they've never thought was important. I don't know. I'll tell you that their PR people, who are the people who I've interacted with at the company, have all been like very warm and very responsive people, but not this week. So I don't know. Maybe they're maybe they're like legitimately scared. I don't know, but it is definitely a bizarre and unfortunate situation all around. It's unfortunate for the people whose phones were bricked, that if they're not backing up their data, which you should be, if they're not backing up their data, it's gone, bye-bye. It's unfortunate for the company, who is now getting nothing but bad press. When, I mean, I have one or two blue phones in the office, because obviously when you do development, you want to test across all kinds of phones, and blue's been good to us. But, this hasn't been good for anybody involved. Oh, good, you moved. I was a little afraid that
I'm sure it'll happen.
That you had stopped. So it hasn't been good for anybody. The good news is that if you do have this one model of phone, there is a way to get it back up and running. But you got to do a reset, and anything you didn't back up is gone. So I know they're not the sponsor for this segment. If you're not backing up your photos, f5live.tv/Amazon. Go get that going and get unlimited photo storage, and it'll auto sync, because I would be really unhappy if I lost stuff. This week's Pilch Point with Avram Pilch is proudly powered by Monster Products. The headphones on my head right now, the Monster Elements, available in on-ear, over-ear, and in-ear as well. But not just the Elements, all kinds of headphones, from wired to Bluetooth, in-ear, on-ear, over-ear, all kinds of styles. Plus, of course, Bluetooth speakers, from the little hot shot up to the big monster blaster. And, of course, all of the power and cabling to connect this and all of your other stuff, your home entertainment system, your computer. And I'll tell you, one of my favorite things right now from them is the little battery. It's like credit card sized, and it's unbelievably high amperage. It's a great little device. And all of that is available right now by going to f5live.tv/monster. And of course, that music means that it's time for the Pilch Point with online editorial director of Laptop Magazine and Tom's Guide, Avram Pilch. Avram, we are in the season.
We are.
Knee deep in the season at this point.
Yeah, no question.
And obviously, gift buying is the topic of the season. But, we've talked deals, we've talked laptops, kind of our normal topics, but you've got some more interesting stuff this week, right?
Yes. So, I think a lot of people, particularly if you're of a certain age, you really have some nostalgia for the things of your youth. Now, for the people I work with, the things of their youth might have been 10 years ago, but or less. But for those of us in, let's say, Gen X or the older millennials, or even older folks still, there's a lot of value in getting something that kind of takes them back. And so on tomsguide.com, we have a list of the best retro tech gadgets that you can get for yourself or someone else, courtesy of my colleague Andrew Friedman. And there are a few on here I'd like to highlight, and then there are some I'd even add to this. So one thing that a lot of people, and sometimes they just don't make them like they used to. One thing that's on here, I think one of the coolest things on here is that there is a new Polaroid camera, the Polaroid PIC 300. It is a small, portable camera that shoots real instant prints, and it's a Polaroid. Now, I remember Polaroids when I was growing up. Lots of people had them. You had to take it out, you'd shake them, you'd sit there and you'd watch them develop. But what was cool was, like, at the end, you had a printed picture. You didn't need any technology to view it. You could put it on your refrigerator, whatever. After the apocalypse comes, Polaroid cameras will be like the most valuable form of photography around, because you won't need a darkroom to develop them, and you won't need electricity. Except for the electricity of taking it. So the Polaroid Pic 300, which is $70 at Best Buy, that's a great choice.
That was the thing. That was the thing I was going to point out, was the surprisingly low price. I wasn't expecting $69.99 as the retail on that.
Yeah, it's not bad, right? I mean, it's pretty good. On the other hand, you can buy a smartphone for $200 and take photos with that, but they're not Polaroids.
And then then carry around a $80 HP portable photo printer.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting it on print that is the really cool thing, and I think people will have a lot of fun with that. If you want to go back and play the games of your youth, and you want to play them on something that is like the game console of your youth, rather than trying to do an emulator on your phone or an emulator on your PC, then the SNES Classic is a great choice. That's $80 on Amazon, and that lets you play. It comes with 21 games. It comes with 21 games built in, so you can play Super Nintendo Classic with real style controllers. But it is actually hard. It is a little bit hard to come by. Apparently, there have been some shortages of it.
Just like with its predecessor, the NES Classic, was hard to find. This one is too.
Now, if you go back even further to say my youth, the game that you might want is the Atari Flashback.
Yes.
Now, the Atari Flashback, there's now have the Atari Flashback 8, which is the only one worth getting, because last year my wife actually bought me the 7, and we had to return it because it came with wireless controllers that did infrared. Well, infrared for a controller is a joke. Like you're trying to move, and like 1 out of every 5 times you move, it works. Like, you can't play any kind of game without, even an Atari game. But now they've upgraded to 2.4 gigahertz wireless on the 2 controllers that it comes with. It comes with a whole bunch of built-in games, and I believe there's an Activision edition that comes with some of the Activision games like Pitfall as well. But they're all built in. There's no cartridges. So you have to look at the game list to make sure that it actually has the games that you want to play.
However, the thing that's interesting about the current generation of mini consoles that come from I can't come up with the name of the company. The company that At Games that produces the hardware is both the Sega and the Atari version will play the original cartridges as well. So if there's a game missing and you happen to have the cartridge, you can still play it.
Oh, really?
How cool is that?
Now, I don't have the cartridges, but there's always eBay, I guess.
Indeed. How cool is that? That's something that the Nintendo consoles don't do. They won't play the cartridges, but both the Sega and the Atari version both do.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I thought when I got that press release, Alante was so excited he wrote about it. And Alante doesn't write ever. Alante was so excited he wrote about it.
So another thing you can get that's retro is a Casio calculator watch, which was my first watch. Maybe my second watch. It was my first digital watch. I loved that thing so much. It didn't even matter that I never had to actually calculate anything with it. The fact that I had that much intelligence on my wrist at any given time just was awesome, with all the buttons. That's what's missing on today's smartwatches: buttons. Not enough buttons.
That's the thing that's missing from most modern technology, is physical things. I miss physical things.
So the last thing I'll mention is Teddy Ruxpin. There's a new Teddy Ruxpin out there. It's about, I think, $80, between $80 and $90. It downloads stories, and you can from the internet. You can actually pay to unlock some more. It will sit there and read you stories just like the old one. It does not use a cassette deck, though. It's all digital. And instead of having creepy mechanical eyes that move back and forth, it now has creepy digital eyes.
Oh, that's better.
But that your definition of creepy may vary. The people in my office who grew up with Teddy Ruxpin actually love the new Teddy Ruxpin. So
I grew up with Teddy Ruxpin, and I wasn't. It freaked me out then. I can't imagine that it will be better with digital eyes.
I'm morally opposed. Forgive me. I'm morally opposed to robots that read your kids' stories. I'm morally opposed to it. And the reason that I'm morally opposed to it is, as a parent, that's my job.
Fair enough.
It's bad enough how much my son gets from his tablet and from TV, but if someone's going to sit there and read to him, I'm going to sit there and read to him, or his mother will, or his grandparents will. That the least that we could do as parents is be present enough to read a story. So, no, I'm not. I wouldn't get, creepy or not. I wouldn't get that.
I like that reasoning. It makes a lot of sense to me.
But all that said, lots of great retro gifts out there, including money that we didn't mention, like a USB mixtape. So check out our list of retro gifts on tomsky.com, where we have a complete gift guide, including non-retro gifts as well.
And before we end this, I want to say that the thing that I didn't know happened, we were talking about it before the show, that I found most interesting was that the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 soundtrack came out on cassette. That's fascinating for a number of reasons. One, when was the last time something came out on cassette? Because where are you even going to find a cassette player today? And two, this was the movie where he upgraded to a Zune. So it shouldn't have been the last one that was on cassette, not this one. But that's, I guess, a different...
Yeah, it does. Well, he didn't upgrade till the end, remember?
Fair enough. And
now, if there's a Volume 3, they're going to have to come out with it on Zune.
I was going to say, but your Zune Music Pass doesn't work anymore, or at least it won't by the time that movie comes out, or possibly by the time you see this episode, because it's got, 28 days left. So,
yeah.
Oh, well. As always, Avram, thank you. That is a fascinating list, and some really, really weird, fun things on there. Everybody should definitely go check it out on Tom's Guide. And until we were going to tease next week, because next week we've got something really cool.
What I wanted to have for this week, and we didn't get all the parts in time, is we have in the office the first Ryzen mobile, AMD Ryzen mobile powered laptop, an HP NVX 360. We actually did review it, so that's live on laptopmag.com right now. But we are also getting an identical Core i5 powered NVX 360, because the Ryzen we have is Ryzen 5, which is equivalent to Core i5. So probably Tuesday, when everything's been tested, we'll probably have up an article. We will have an article on the differences, and the early results look good for Ryzen. It did almost as well as a Core i7, so now we have to see how it does. A Ryzen 5 does against an apples to apples Core i5. Sure. So pretty impressive considering how weak AMD's laptop offerings have been for the past several years.
I would say for a long time now.
Yeah, they may actually be a player again. So,
well, that would be good, because as we know, competition breeds innovation, and Intel has not had any of that for a while in the PC space. I mean, even AMD making desktop chips, they half-assed it for a while. They waited until Intel came out with something, and then they'd they'd do something. But when they decided to do Ryzen, they decided to come at it hard. And
yes, they finally have a little bit of swagger.
yeah,
which I haven't seen from them in,
a very
years.
long time. So I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see that there's going to be a fight in that space again. It's good because the tablet space is really the only place where Intel's had challenge with competing with ARM's architecture. So I'm glad to see there's some interest happening there, and I can't wait to see the results and to talk about them with you next week. This week's Extra Life on F5 Live is proudly powered by Razer. All of the gaming accessories you need to up your PC gaming experience are available from Razer. Whether you're looking for one of the fascinating mouse pads, whether it be lit or giant or whatever you might be looking for, or you're looking for a really great dedicated gaming mouse like the Mamba Tournament Edition. It's all available, and right now they've got a couple of holiday bundles going on. You can get a mouse and mouse pad for a really great deal, plus a bunch of other stuff in some of these bundles as well. And you can find all of the bundles plus all of their other products by going to f5live.tv/Razer. They are definitely producing a lot more glowing products. Looking at their holiday catalog, and there's a lot to it. Alrighty, so a couple years ago, I think it was 2015, Nintendo announced that they were going to get into mobile gaming, not 3DS mobile gaming, but iOS and Android mobile gaming, and they have launched, as of today, they have launched 3 first-person titles, or first-party titles, and 1 partner title, being Pokemon Go, which is, they only own half of that company, so it's kind of a partner title. So the 3 titles that they've released that are Nintendo proper are Fire Emblem Heroes. What was the second one? Super Mario Run, and then this about 11 days ago, something like that, they released Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. And of course, that means it's time to compare game to game. At the 6-day mark, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which I will just refer to as Pocket Camp now, was the second most downloaded of the 3 at 15 million downloads. To Super Mario Run's like 20 something million. Like that, it was way up there. But while their downloads are high, their revenues are not so much. In fact, they've in the first 9 days, so we'll assume 15 million downloads even on day 9, just for easy math. They had done about $10 million in revenue, which is the lowest of the 3 by a lot. Interestingly, the list is very different when you look at revenue. The top is actually Fire Emblem Heroes with $33 million in revenue, smallest download, largest revenue. Super Mario Run, most downloads, second revenue with 24 million. And lastly, we have Pocket Camp with 10. Now, the thing that's really interesting is the breakdown of where the revenue is coming from. Over 40% of it comes from Japan, and just over 1% comes from the United States. a country that seems to be obsessed with like casual style mobile games. Only $120,000 worth of the revenue has come from the United States, which is kind of interesting. Not a lot of revenue from us over here, but a lot of it from Japan. So at least I guess good on you there.
Well, I guess they'll be carefully watching to see whether this is a profitable venture for them because, yes, they can get a lot of attention through their name. I mean, people are obviously love the Nintendo ecosystem.
Sure.
But if they can't make money off of it, they're not going to keep doing this type of thing.
Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you've played Pocket Camp or not.
No.
I have. And the thing that I noticed was that there's no urgency in it. At least when it launched, there was no urgency to the game. Obviously with this type of game, think if you haven't played it, think Clash of Clans or something like that, where the resource that you have that's finite is your time. So it's the resource that they prey upon. If you want things to craft faster or things like that, you use your in-game currency, in this case, Leaf Ticket. If you've ever played an Amazon Crossing game or an Animal Crossing game, Leaf Tickets. You use them to speed up production of things, or if you're missing resources, you can overcome that by purchasing the resources with the Leaf Tickets. And so that factors into this game. But the thing is, there's no real reason to be excited about making something go faster. It's not like you're defending territory. It's not Clash of Clans. You're not defending territory. You're not, going into somebody else's map to try and attack. It's not a tower defense game. It's not even Pokemon Go, where at the very least you want to be able to hold more Pokemon. You're just building a camp for yourself. It's like SimCity. Would you pay extra money to build your buildings faster in SimCity? Probably not, because there's no real urgency built into it. Now, I don't know if they knew this ahead of time or if they figured it out in the first couple of days, but shortly after the game launched, its first event went into effect, and I have a feeling this event was not supposed to start for another 2 weeks. But it is a Christmas event. It's not what they call it. I don't remember what they call it, holiday festival or something like that. But all of the items in the event are Christmas themed, and they are limited time. They are limited run. At the end of the event, you can no longer create these items, which does then create urgency. So maybe they need to have limited run things on a more regular basis. Maybe we'll see at the end of this event that their revenue per person went up because people were buying supplies to be able to craft them. I don't know, but it certainly seems like they gave 35 days or something like that for the Christmas event, which seems excessive. I have a feeling that they started it early because they went into panic mode. Because they wanted to create something limited. Because that in a game like this that's the only urgency I can think of. Can you think of anything else that would create an urgency in a game like SimCity or something like that?
No.
Yeah, I can't either. So, and the reason I keep going back to SimCity is because EA had SimCity Social, which was very similar, and when they started doing the limited run things is when SimCity Social started generating revenue, but they'd already decided to cancel it before that. Whatever. I'm not bitter. Anyway, I haven't been holding a grudge against them for canceling that game for 3.5 years. Anyway, So maybe we'll see in a month that things have changed, that limited run stuff. EA found that limited run stuff worked. Maybe Nintendo will find the same thing. Because, again, you got to do something to create urgency. Otherwise, people just go, oh, it's going to take 48 hours? Great. And not interact with that part of the game for 48 hours. It's what I keep doing. I have no interest in spending money on stuff like that.
Money's tight, man. I cannot spend money on DLC.
Yeah, for sure. And like we've talked about before, interestingly, when Super Mario Run came out, we talked about I would prefer to pay a price and get a game and be able to move on with my day. And all of the other Animal Crossing games have worked that way. I wouldn't mind being told, here's the price for the game, enjoy the game, bye-bye. I'm fine with that concept. I'm good with that. But I don't know, if I know that it's either wait 48 hours or pay a couple of bucks, I'm going to wait the 48 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like free to play games because there's always a catch.
Yeah. So long if it's a game like this and it's free to play, pay to speed, it doesn't bother me, but when it's pay to win, then I won't even interact with the game. That's because I'm totally with you, because I don't care about the speed of the thing. That doesn't bother me. But if you couldn't get past a certain point without paying, that's when I get mad. So I understand. Anyway, obviously we won't know in short term whether or not this move works or what the fate of the game is. But my guess is by the end of the year, by the time we are physically together in Las Vegas, we will know whether or not the holiday event worked for them to change the revenue stream, which I have a feeling it will. And obviously when we know, we will start reporting changes back if there are changes, or a lack thereof if that's the way that it goes. This week's news from the tubes on F5 Live is proudly powered by RiffTrax. The guys who used to do Mystery Science Theater 3000 are back doing what they do best, making fun of movies. From blockbusters to... oh, I wish I knew what this was. Let's go with Pressure Point. They've got a little bit of everything. The way it usually works is, for a couple of bucks, you download the MP3 or play it through the RiffTrax app, and you play it along with your DVD, Netflix, Amazon, wherever you happen to have the movie, and laugh. From time to time, they do live events. The live events for 2017 have closed. 2018 will be announced shortly after the new year, hopefully. And so as soon as those are available, obviously, we will start talking about those. But right now, there's going to be a limited edition 10 DVD lunchbox. A lunchbox of the Disembaudio character, plus a bunch of the movies and shorts and stuff like that, a bunch of the live events, and you can pre-order those right now and find out all the movies and shorts that are available by going to f5live.tv/RiffTrax with an X. The RiffTrax Live of Manos, Hands of Fate is in there, which is one of my all-time favorite live events, so I know I've mentioned it before, and I don't care. It's still one of my favorites. Anyway, Bitcoin. There's been a week for Bitcoin, hasn't it? It hit an all-time high of $10,000 a coin, and then 24 hours later, hit $11,000 a coin. And then shortly after, a judge ruled that Coinbase, which is the largest trading platform for the United States, had to turn over some of their records to the IRS because, as it turns out, Bitcoin is a great way to hide money from the IRS. And so the IRS asked Coinbase for their records. Coinbase said, no, thank you. And it went to court, obviously. And so this week, the judge said, absolutely, you must turn over records, but not all of them. The IRS wanted all records dating back to essentially the founding of the company, 2012. And the judge said, no, we're not going to go that wide with it. I'm going to require that anybody who has done at least $20,000 worth of Bitcoin trading within any given fiscal year, that information must be turned over. And you would be surprised at how many people that turns out to be. It is a surprisingly high number. It was like 14,000, I think. Now, there are millions of users on Coinbase, so statistically 14,000 is insignificant. But considering the IRS, to the best of their records, has had 3 people report income from Bitcoin, even 1,400, even 150 is a lot when you consider that only 3 people have ever reported the income.
Is that considered capital gains?
So depending on which part of the thing you're looking at, yes. If we're simply talking about somebody buying a bunch of Bitcoin within a year and holding on to it, or using it as Bitcoin online, that is direct tax evasion. And if you're talking about gains in value of Bitcoin, that's capital gains, and that's a misreporting of capital gains. So if you are among the people who have done $20,000 in a year and didn't report, if you're not one of those 3, be prepared. You will probably be audited at some point in 2018, and it will date back all the way to 2012. So hopefully you kept all your records, or you went to somebody like H&R Block who has that insurance where if something goes wrong, they'll help you out. But yeah, there are going to be some people getting some phone calls from the IRS pretty soon. This is a mistake you don't want to make. You don't want to any kind of tax evasion. The IRS doesn't get happy about it. You've probably been fortunate enough not to be audited, right, Avram?
No, I haven't been audited yet.
That's good.
Well,
Me neither. Although, as somebody who owns a couple of businesses, I will be at some point. I'm fully aware of that. But not yet. But I have heard it's not a fun process, especially if they believe that you're legitimately evading taxes. So with this ruling, do you think that this is the beginning of considering Bitcoin to be a currency, or at the very least a commodity in the eyes of the government?
Commodity, yes. Currency, no. Yeah, I mean, look, if they can get their hands on something of yours that they could tax, then they're going to go after it, right? I mean,
fair enough.
So, yeah, I'm sure, it's an investment, right? So,
sure. And it's no different than theoretically trading in other currencies, or at the very least other commodities. If you buy corn and what is it, options or whatever? No, what's the other word?
Futures.
That's it, futures. You buy corn futures, you're taxed on what you make. This is no different. This is somebody essentially buying futures on a theoretical value of a bit, right?
Yep.
So
yeah, Yeah, yep. It's like currency, like you said, it's like currency speculation. So whether or not you consider it currency, you are speculating on the value of it.
Interesting way of looking at it. Yeah. So, this is probably the beginning of a change in the way the government looks at Bitcoin. So, that will be interesting. And my guess is now that they've got this ruling, Coinbase won't be the only trading platform that they go talk to. But
I'm sure.
But that's just a guess, based on history and reality. But just a guess.
No doubt.
This week's DRM not included on F5 Live is proudly powered by Amazon Prime. We talked about it earlier. Amazon Prime is more than just free shipping. Everybody knows the free shipping, but what a lot of people don't know is Prime Music gives you several million songs that you can stream for free. Prime Video gives you lots of content, including original content from Amazon that can be streamed for free just about anywhere. Phone, computer, tablet, Xbox, PlayStation, basically wherever you are, you can stream it. You get a free subscription on Twitch, which is a pretty good thing. But if you're trying to, say, back up the photos on your phone before something goes horribly wrong, Amazon Prime Photos gives you unlimited storage of photos and a certain amount of 5 gig of storage for videos as well. And they've got some really actually interesting sharing options in Prime Video or Prime Photos. And there's a lot more than that as well. And we've got a bunch of the benefits listed. And if you're not already a Prime subscriber, you can subscribe, get a 30-day free trial to find out whether or not it's something you like by going to f5live.tv/Amazon. After saying their name a dozen times, I almost forgot it there at the end. Bit of a weird night for me. Anyway, so Redbox is kind of the oddball in the current media landscape. DVD rentals collapsed a couple of years ago, like completely. Blockbuster went away, Hollywood went away. All of the mom and pops have been gone for a while. The DVD rentals kind of just totally collapsed out, and then Redbox popped up. And Redbox somehow managed to do it, even though Blockbuster had this hardware earlier. But whatever, Redbox is an enigma, and they're always looking for ways to continue to be weird. And one of the ways last month, meaning November, that they figured out a way to be different is they started selling digital download codes for Disney movies. But they did it in a weird way. Here's what they did. Normally, if we were talking about Hollywood or Blockbuster, or in most cases Redbox, there are special purchase programs that these companies go through to buy the DVDs in a different way than what you or I or Avram or, the way we would buy it. We would go to Amazon or to a retail store and buy a thing in cellophane with a pretty cover on the outside and disc on the inside and coupons and whatever stupid stuff comes in the box. But Redbox and Blockbuster and Hollywood, when they were around, had special purchase that basically they get a spindle of the DVDs. It's the reason why Blockbuster never had the pictures on the box, because they just bought the DVDs, which I know was an annoyance for a lot of people. But that's...
Some of them they did, though. It seems to depend.
It's true. Later on, especially, they started putting one empty box in front that had the picture, and then behind it were all the Blockbuster branded blank-looking boxes. But yeah, some of them would have it. But I mean, dating back into VHS times, I think there one of the shows that I watched, I don't remember which one, made it was The Office, made a joke. Pam rented 28 days, meant to rent 28 days, but got 28 days later. And she was terrified, but wondering when Sandra Bullock was going to show up because they don't put the picture on the cover. Anyway, so they just buy spindles of DVDs and then distribute them however they distribute them. But in Redbox's case, Disney will not give them that option. So they buy them retail. And so
you're talking about these download codes, right?
Oh, we're talking about their DVDs in general. So Disney would not allow them to buy the DVDs through the purchase plan like all the other companies do. Disney said no. You're not Blockbuster, you're not Hollywood, you just don't have the scale of purchase. We're not going to do it.
Well, do they even do that anymore, considering Redbox is the only one that rents?
They do. Everybody else does.
Well, I guess Netflix does it also.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Netflix has DVD rentals. But Disney said no thank you. No special purchase plan for you. So they buy them retail. And Disney movies, when you buy them retail, come with a download code in the box. And so Redbox had the brilliant idea, we'll sell the download codes. Nope. That's not how that works. In fact, when you look at the little thing, it says this is not for resale or for transfer. You can't give it away. You can't sell it. It has to go with the DVD. Now, if I were to buy a movie and give the download code to Avram, probably nobody's ever coming after us for that. But when you're Redbox and you add to your app and to your machines the ability to purchase these, oftentimes massively undercutting, say, iTunes, Disney's going to take notice and not be happy and inevitably sue Redbox. Of course they are. Because that's a crazy idea. It's not like Redbox can say we didn't know. It's printed on the little cards.
I also think they would have a law. I also think they're a large enough business to have a lawyer.
Right?
That's a little nutty. So they were selling them. They would take. Let me just get the story straight here. So they would buy a DVD from retail.
Uh-huh.
They would take the code that came with the DVD. They would take the DVD and rent it, like they rent everything else.
Uh-huh.
And then they would take the code that came with it and try to sell that separately from the DVD.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No, of course not. Now, if you wanted to include the code, like Blockbuster used to at the end, like they'd buy a bunch, say 25 or 50 DVDs of a new release, and then when it was no longer popular, they'd start selling off the DVDs for real cheap, $3-4.
I bought some that way.
I did too. I've got a whole bunch of Blockbuster discs out there. I've got some VHSs too. But if you wanted to include the code when you do that at the end, that's okay, because it's actually supposed to go with the disc. Wherever the disc goes, the code's supposed to go. But yeah, you can't separate them and sell the code by itself. And you certainly can't undercut Disney's own price for the product and expect them to not flip out.
Yeah. So yeah, that's crazy. How would they think that they could get away with that?
When I saw this thing come from Disney earlier in the week, I thought it was a joke. I made sure that it wasn't April, because it seemed like there was absolutely no way that Redbox could have possibly thought that this was an idea. Not even just a good idea. There's no way Redbox could have thought this was an idea.
Yeah, I don't understand. I've worked for several companies in my life. If somebody at a company I worked for had such a crazy idea, we would have read the box to them, and then if they didn't believe us, we would have sent it to the company lawyer who would have told them no. So, like, that's absolutely crazy. I could see some newfangled startup trying this kind of thing. Like, what was the name of that startup that had that you rented a TV antenna from them?
Yeah.
The name escapes me now, but you remember it well.
Yep.
We talked about it. That was kind of
no, I don't remember.
That was kind of a unique legal theory that if it was being broadcast over the air and we're giving you an antenna, then we're just renting you an antenna in another location. But there's no theory to this. It's against the license.
Yeah, exactly. At least with Zadiva, which was similar to the one you're talking about, but equally bad idea. They would buy the discs, and you could stream the disc from a DVD player somewhere. Like, it was a 1-for-1 match. It was a bad idea, and there was no way it was ever going to stand up, but it was a startup. They were trying to fly under the radar. Redbox isn't that. Redbox and Verizon teamed up to come up with a streaming service. It's not like it's a little company nobody knows. You can't go to a 7-Eleven or a CVS without tripping over one of their machines.
What is it they would say on, like, the Naked Gun or whatever? Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, they can't claim ignorance anyway.
Yeah. It's such a bad idea that of course the first thing you think is, what were you thinking? That's the dumbest idea ever. My guess is this lawsuit doesn't go very far. Redbox goes, oops, our bad, hands over whatever Disney asks for, and they're asking for I have it here somewhere. They're asking for all of the revenue from the sales, or if Redbox isn't willing to just stop doing it and sign over the revenue, they're going to ask for $150,000 per instance of copyright infringement.
That's a lot more expensive.
Yeah, so you can turn over the $8 per thing that you sold and walk away from the business, or we're going to get $150,000 per thing. Seems like Redbox is going to write a check and walk away. If they try to fight this, ooh, it'll be fun. It would be the weirdest case ever, right?
I'm sure someone's going to get fired over this.
At least one someone. And
they deserve to be. So
possibly an entire legal team is about to be replaced.
Yeah.
And by the way, Aereo was the name of that company.
Aereo, that's right.
Nope, wrong button. Anyway, that is our show. Thank you to those of you who joined us live. We always appreciate our live viewers. If you weren't able to join us live, however, that is okay. PLUGHITZlive.com/subscribe. You can subscribe to this and all of our other series as well. Obviously, you can look for an episode of the Pilch Point F5 Live tonight, and probably an episode of the 3000 Brigade podcast tomorrow, which I think is about to change names tonight, probably, which is okay. I think we're going to start calling it the 3000 Brigade Presents. Anyway, lots of new content, new reviews, new episodes of things, and then, of course, CES coming up very soon. December looks a little weird for us, as we mentioned earlier on. We've got a couple of shows that are not going to be on Sunday nights because Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, probably not the nights to film new episodes of our shows, and so we will do them a day or two early, and we'll let you know as we get closer to it exactly when we will film. It'll all depend on Avram and my schedule leading up to the holidays, which can always be bizarre. So, I guess with that, on behalf of the staff that's not here, I'm Scott.
I'm Avram.
And we will see you guys back next week, normal time. Ciao.
Ciao.